Today we're going to be doing a Hot Wires heated glove liner wiring install. It's super easy stuff. The kit comes sized, so you get your gloves, your glove liners, and the fingers. I think it's just pretty much the fingers that are wired up for heat. I'll have more information once I get it installed and play with it. You can see your electrical plugs go at the cuffs. These fit underneath my normal writing gloves, and the kit just comes with a little bit of warranty information as well as a harness for the bike. This is going to be a super simple install because all you do is hook up your positive, your negative, and you've got your plug with a cap on it here. You plug it into the harness for the glove liners, and that just connects right here, and then you snake these guys up into your sleeves, plug them in, and you've got heated gloves. Now, what makes the hot wire stuff super easy to use is there's no rheostat, there's no adjustment for it. You plug them in, they run about 90 degrees. They'll be in combination with my my heated grips. So I've got a set of Harley-Davidson heated grips on the bike. The left handle controls the power for both. The problem is, you got your hand on here, the back of your fingers are getting frozen. We're in Colorado, and we might, dip down in the days where we're actually riding in 30-degree weather. So having the heated glove liners is a bonus. I really don't like winter gloves. They're too bulky, they interfere with my ability to move my hands in, they make my hands go numb if I have different pressure on the inside of my palm, so I stay away from them. I got a particular set of gloves, which I did a review on from Held, that I like to wear all the time. So I'm going to wear these glove liners with those gloves. All we really got to do to make this happen is pull a seat off. We'll get access to some of the power connections, and I'll give you a close-in shot of what I'm doing there. All right, I flipped the camera angle around a little bit to get a better view of what I'm doing. Basically, you got the ECU for the bike sitting right here, several different harnesses that come across it. If you take out these two torque bolts with a, let's see here, a 40 torque, you're gonna be able to get down to the battery a little easier. And sometimes these guys need to come off. Most of them just pull out, some of them slide off. That guy out of the way, and you've got access to your battery here. Now, on my particular bike, I have the accessory wiring harness. This goes down underneath the left side cover and provides a location to pull power from for different things you might add to the bike, like a heated seat or your power grips, or the heated grips. So this is currently wired into the heated grips, and it also is powering over here to my USB port that's in the right rear bag. So this is the fuse that runs the USB port. What you always want to do when you connect anything to positive power on the bike is have a fuse, because once it gets away from the battery, if the wire gets pinched, it becomes a direct short. And if you don't have a fuse, inline fuse holder here, the fuse would normally pop and then keep the bike from having a fire. If this wasn't here and you direct connect to the battery, what happens is all that power goes back through because there's a direct short, and then this insulation will melt down, the wiring will melt down, and you can have a fire on the bike. So you always want to have a fuse. Now, this is a 15 amp fuse, that's what came with it. It's a fair amount of power, and I wouldn't necessarily add that to what's already running through here. Because I've got the heated grips running through here, and I've got a USB port. So I'm not going to add in line with that. Part of this wiring harness here, this 3-wire accessory plug, is actually the Harley-Davidson accessory plug that comes up from it. Now these wire connections, the wire colors all match. If I had the other side to this, that would be the optimal place to plug it into. So I'm probably going to look at getting that plug. And this would be where the seat would plug in if you had a heated seat. So I've got to look at how I could source the other side of this plug, and I'd probably use it. I mean, obviously I could cut it and then wire everything in directly if I wanted to, but I don't necessarily want to cut this plug off if another side can be sourced and used. So I'm just going to kind of push this down out of the way. But we're just going to make a connection to the battery terminals at this point, and I'll reassess what I'm doing with this connection later if I want to adjust it. But you see your positive and negative battery terminals. The positives on this side, obviously it's red, and the black is negative. What I would typically do anytime I'm going to be working on the battery is I'm going to go ahead and pull the main fuse plug. Pull off the side cover, and my main fuse is right here. Now I do have the factory alarm with the siren and everything, so I may get an alert here when I pull the fuse. All right, what you saw there is you needed to turn the bike on, let it power cycle, turn it off, and then pull the fuse. That disables the alarm. That also puts it in transport mode if there's an alarm on the bike, so it's not freaking out. The next thing I got to do is then pull the two terminals. And what I've got here is a number 3 Phillips. Either one of them is going to work. And it's going to be pretty easy. All we're doing is unscrewing it. We don't have to do anything with the terminals. I'm not going to cut this harness in any way. I'm just going to put it right over. So while it's important to have tight battery connections, it would typically be my preference to use a screwdriver as opposed to a ratchet. The nuts that are down inside here and the terminals themselves are not very strong. So when you're cranking this shit down, I would take great effort to make sure that you don't break anything off and have to go buy a new battery. When this is all said and done, we're going to route this out in a direction where it's not going to get pinched. And then I'm going to get this guy routed up on the left side of the tank where I would choose to plug in the wiring harness. All right, so what I've done is zip tied the rest of the harness, tucked it down where it's not going to get pinched on by anything. From below the front of the mount for the coils, the ignition coils, the wire comes out, is zip tied to the frame, and then it's pushed up on the inside here. So if I want to use it, I pull it out, I've got access to it, I can open it up, and then it'll be plugged into the harness coming out of my jacket. Now if I don't want access to it, I tuck it back up inside the frame, and it should stay basically in that position. We'll give that a dry run for a little bit, see how that works. The only next step you need to do is put your gloves on and plug them into the harness. So these things are hot all the time. I would assume that's why they call them hot wire. There's no plugs, or there's no control device or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and plug them in and make sure we have power. All right, what you see right here is the mediums, and I can wear anything from a medium to a large glove. But when I get glove liners, I typically go with the smaller size, and that's what I did for these. And they do, they fit pretty good down as far as finger length goes. I've got a little bit shorter than normal guys' fingers, but very wide palms for the size fingers I've got. So these do fit pretty good, and shouldn't be too bulky. I can feel both hands starting to heat up, and mostly it feels like it's between the fingers, which probably all the element runs right in here. All right, so it seems like we're good to go. Everything's working, and we'll give that a run, see if it works. Last thing you have to do is reset all your wiring stuff here. Install your seat.